All right, welcome back to Fusion Friday. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to create this little bracket and we're going to explore the feature in Fusion where we can actually add materials to this. Instead of just having it be a gray blob, we can actually associate it to be whatever material we want. We can make it glass, we can make it wood, we can make it metal. So we'll just go through and we'll model this bracket together and then we'll look at adding the material feature. So for this bracket, it's got some complex features to it, but you can actually create everything in one sketch with just a bunch of circles. So to start this, I'm going to click on create a new sketch, and I'm going to start in that circle that's in the bottom left. Okay, the one that's got a radius of 22 as its outer circle and a inner circle of 22 as a diameter. So we'll start with our bigger circle, 44, and create another circle that's 22 and concentric with that one. Next, I'll kind of go off to the right and left, and I'll create the two circles that are shown. Off to the right, we've got one that's got a diameter of 20 with a diameter of 8 in the center. And then above that, we've got one that is a outer diameter of 32 and an inner diameter of 16. Now I'll add some dimensions to keep everything in line with each other. These two circles are 72 millimeters from each other, and these two are also 72 millimeters from each other. But they're not fully constrained yet, so that probably means that they're not horizontal and vertical with each other. So if we just click on the horizontal and vertical, now those are constrained and those are fully constrained. To get the left edge, we'll start by just adding a tangent line. So if we click on just one of our circles anywhere, you can go down and find this little, when you see this little icon up here, the little circle with a line going through it, that means it's automatically putting the tangent constraint on, which is exactly what we want. So if we click there, we have the tangent constraint, and then we just have to make the constraint ourselves for that top circle. So now we have a fully defined line that's tangent with these two circles. Now is where it gets a little tricky. Now we have those kind of little curved edges in our part. So to create those, we'll start with the one along the bottom that's got an R of 45. To do that, we can actually just create another circle, and we'll just have it go, if it's R 45, that's a diameter of 90, and then we could make this circle tangent with these two. Okay, so if we click on the tangent tool, that first circle, the tangent tool in that second circle, now we have kind of that little arc shape. And we could use the trim tool to trim the outer portion of it. So now we have kind of that curved shape that we want. Okay, so we'll use that same logic and we'll do the rest of this part. But the first thing we have to do is we have to add this little circle that's got a radius of 10 that kind of floats off here and has the two weird dimensions that are associated with it. So we'll just start with our circle, we'll make it 20, and then we'll give that the dimensions that are listed in the part. So this is 29.19 from the center of this ground circle, and from the height wise, that would be 34.93. Okay, so now that circle is fully constrained and in the right place. And then we can start by just adding a tangent line. Same way that we did on this side. We click here, find the little tangent, and then we make this tangent with that. So now that line is fully constrained. And then the last one is just adding this giant little R100 right into that circle. So we'll start with just a circle. It's about 200. Well, it is 200. And then we again just make it tangent. We'll start by making it tangent with that circle and end by making it tangent with this circle. And then if we come back, you can kind of see the shape that we're looking for right now. So then if we come back in with our little trim tool, we trim all the exterior portions of this. And now you can see we have the part that we're looking for. So we can go ahead and finish the sketch, and then we can create our extrusions and make this part 3D. So to do that, we'll start with just the little outer guys, the parts that go up by 15.5. We'll make those go up 15.5, just like that. And then we'll create well, we got to re-reveal our sketch. Oh, and it seems my sketch is not fully defined. And I think I know why. I think I need to make a parallel constraint somewhere. See what Fusion has to say. Yeah, for some reason, Fusion wants me to create a parallel constraint there. So we'll go ahead and do that. But now we have our sketch fully defined and we are good to go. So back to our thing. We will now extrude this second portion of it up 10.5. And we'll actually also extrude that portion of it up 10.5 as well. And then we'll create our final extrusion to go down, and then we'll just split the difference of what this is supposed to be. So if this already went up 10.5, the whole thing is supposed to be 38 tall, but we want to cut that in half because we're going to actually use the mirror tool. So we'll start with the 38, divide that in half is 19, and then we can just type in 19 minus 10.5 into Fusion. We want this to go down, so negative 19 minus 10.5. And then we are all set. And then from there, we just got to mirror this whole thing. So we'll create a mirror, click on our part, click on this bottom face, and then we have our bracket, just like that. So now that we have our bracket, let's go ahead and add our material in there. To do that, it's really simple. We just find our body, and if we right click on that, we can add physical material. Okay, and then here you'll see that Fusion has this entire library of materials already included for you. So you could just you can scroll through, say you wanted to make it, you can make it fabric, there's glass, there's plastics, there's wood. For this bracket though, this bracket is called out to have a material of aluminum 6061. So we'll go ahead and find our metals, and we'll scroll down to the aluminums until we find our aluminum 6061. And once we found it, it's as simple as just clicking it and dragging it over to our part. Okay, so now you'll see that the texture changed slightly, and now we actually have all the material properties associated with aluminum 6061 in our model, which is super helpful if you're trying to create entire assemblies of components. And in the drawing space, there's a super helpful tool that you can show that material, which is called a parts list. So if we were to create a drawing from our design, all right, so from here, we can go ahead and we'll click one of our base views for now. So what you'll do is you'll go in and add all the dimensions for these parts, but I want to show you the parts list and how that works. So I will give myself an isometric view just so that we can, oops, didn't mean to give two. So we can see what we're looking at. And I'll just shade it in. Okay. From there, what I can do is up here in the tables area, if you click on tables and then go down to parts list, you can click on the parts list and then you'll see this table kind of hovering around. If you place it somewhere down on your part, you'll see that it adds a couple of things. One, it adds this table already in your list that shows you the item that you have, how many of them are in your design, the part name or part number, which will be just your part name, and then the material that's associated with it. This is really helpful if you have a bunch of components all coming together, and you can see, okay, this part is clearly made out of aluminum 6061, straight from the design. And then you could go through and add all the necessary dimensions. But that's how you would go about adding materials and the associated parts list to show that material in Fusion 360.